Now, live. Broadcasting live on StarWorldWideNetworks.com. It's time for The Real Deal. Join the ambassador and special guest hosts as they put together great guests and honest commentary on a range of issues. One of their main topics will be preserving Native American tributes in sports team nicknames. Also avid fans of music and the arts, and they'll always make time for a great song or two. Now, it's time for The Real Deal. Here's your host, the Ambassador.
Welcome to The Real Deal, ladies and gentlemen, at the famous Star Worldwide Networks in the Camelback Towers in beautiful downtown Scottsdale, Arizona, and we are definitely off the reservation tonight. With me tonight is my producer, Kyle Pratt, the son of the infamous Dave Pratt. Say hello, Kyle.
How's it going, Ambassador?
Oh, Ambassador's all in, as always. And my co-host tonight is Maggie, and she'll be saying something here shortly. Say hi, Maggie.
Hi.
And then also we have some guests that's been on the show before, and they're in the studio with me. Karen Washington is here. Say hello, Karen.
Hello, everyone.
Good to see you again. And then my friend Alex is in from Beverly Hills. Say hello, Alex.
Hey. How are you guys?
We are doing real good. And then my dear friend from Austin, Texas. He's a real Indian. Say hello, Bally.
How are you, Dennis?
Oh, Dennis is good. All good, always.
Barry had a really sick boy.
Okay. We want to thank our sponsors, Graves Propane, with offices in northern Arizona, family-owned business, John and Susan Graves. Buy your propane from Graves Propane. They've been serving Native Americans for a long, long time. And Humate International, that's my HUMATE.com. And we produce minerals in Gallup, New Mexico. We ship them worldwide for organic and conventional agriculture, and it's also used as solar remediation and as an animal feed supplement. Our sponsor, Swisher Air Conditioning, is donating a unit to a low-income Native American family every month, and here in Arizona, this is a $10,000 unit at no cost to the family. Please consider being a sponsor on our show. We also have our co-sponsor, Kinga Andrea Johns, is in Aspen, Colorado, and we're going to be getting on the Real Deal Airlines here after a while and flying up to Aspen. Thanks to all the listeners all over the country, Native Americans, non-Native Americans, the schools that are under attack as we speak, where they're trying to change the name of these schools, Channel 3, Channel 5, Channel 15 here in Phoenix. Thank you guys for listening. American Indian Center, the Great Plains, Johnny Leonard, my partner. Him and I are partners on that, and he's listening as well. Now I want to have Peter McDonald say something in Navajo to our Navajo listeners.
Yate shastoi sezane setelke sheke neshike no kliniki o shidi Peter McDonald dashne aska zahon slobet ani bashin ado tsakane dashnale ashi dashche todich ini eba esetta shada halya kododi anini eba hanne no kodoy Ambassador Dennis Yellowhorse niji yaltijo yolwol akoda nini be edeba hanne the real deal wol yo jo koy hashine lan ne says yadal lahada ba lahab lahadal no die do kot eda ebni na hada kisigi kodo the real deal no yahal negi da nini jo edeba honne ako ikena aslagi sto banda yolni to banda notra Graves Company will love la shibe da no sandai da jo kodo kwishi hot di ikena asla kodo kwichi na long kodo ni yati.
Thank you, Peter. That was Peter McDonald, former chairman of the Navajo Nation and also a Navajo Code Talker. And if you want to learn something about the Navajo Code Talkers, we did 4 back-to-back shows with him, and the shows are archived, and you can listen to them. You can go back and listen to them, and you'll get a real good education of what these guys did to help win World War II. Now I'd like to have my business associate with Jay Stryker. Him and I are business associates with them. They're out of New York, and he's out of Washington, D.C., and he's going to say something in Spanish to our Native American listeners who speak Spanish and don't have a language because they lost their native language, and especially in southern Arizona, northern Mexico, and in California. Mark Burr, ladies and gentlemen.
Claro que sí, don Dennis. Nuevamente, bienvenidos a nuestra audiencia de hispanoparlantes y a todos nuestros patrocinadores, Graves Propane de Flagstaff y YouMade Internacional de Gallup, Nuevo México, y a todos los radio oyentes a través de la nación y del Real Deal y nuestro anfitrión, el embajador.
Okay, now we're going to have my co-host, Maggie, say a few words in Chinese, in Cantonese. She's from Hong Kong. She's a fashion and jewelry designer, makes beautiful jewelry. So, Maggie, if you would say something to our listeners in China.
Thank you, Chief. 其实这个节目是说美国的印第安人的历史文化。好久以前呢，美国的印第安人是从中国来的，也是第一批人居住在美国。Washington Post 访问所有的美国的印第安人，他们都喜欢 Western Redskin 这个名字，但是有的人想改变这个名字。千尼斯·王马先生为了为了保护这个名字和印第安人的历史文化，他本人做出了好大的贡献，和支持。我希望每一个人都支持这个节目。千尼斯·王马先生还有出售有机涂颜叫优美。如果有需要，请打我美国的电话，我的电话是60251073。So thanks so much, Chief, for having me on Real Deal. That is such my honor.
No, thank you, Maggie. Did you tell him? Did you tell him what I said?
Yes, I had told all the listeners in China, we have big powwow, big daddy, love me long time.
Thanks, Bally. I got to tell you a story about that, ladies and gentlemen. Bally, my business partner in Austin, comes and stays with me on a regular basis. And several months ago, or last summer, I don't remember when it was, I said, Bally, I can't get this damn Wi-Fi to work in this house. And I got the router and I got all this crap, and I says, you know how to do it. I says, just fix it where this damn thing works. So he goes in there and fools around with it, and he says, I got it to work. And I says, really? I says, how do you access it? So then I go to your settings and to access it, and then so
Big
I said,
Daddy.
Yeah, so I said, which one is it? He said, it's the one called Big Daddy. And I said, oh, that's it, Big Daddy. Okay, there it is. I said, what's the password? And he says, love me long time.
I love it. I love it. I love
it. So that's how that got to me, Kyle. Isn't that pretty cool?
It's a good story. Yeah,
yeah, it's a true story. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to mention all the fans of the teams that listen to our show and spread the word. Kansas City Chiefs, Washington Redskins, Golden State Warriors, Atlanta Braves, Cleveland Indians, Chicago Blackhawks, for listening and honoring Native Americans by using the names. Star Worldwide Networks, ladies and gentlemen, is the largest, fastest-growing internet radio station in the country. 200 shows, 6 million listeners. Kyle, tell everybody that's listening why and who is the number one show here.
That's the Real Deal.
That's right. That's right. We spread the word, and what these name changers and these political correctness idiots are trying to do is nothing more than social and cultural genocide to Native Americans. This is what was done in Germany to the Jewish people. Burn the books, get rid of the race. In 100 years, Native Americans will just be Americans, and I really believe that. Okay, with that, we're going to fire it up. I want you to call the airlines, get the pilots ready, tell them to kick the tires, light the fires. We're going to Aspen, Colorado.
Come on, baby, I got it for you. wanna love you, wanna be your guy. Groove me, just groove me. I don't want you to feel frustrated. Come over to me, I'll make you feel like a lady. Come on, honey, don't be shy. I wanna love you up to the sky. Groove me, just groove me. Oh, baby, I need your love. Let's get it to the stars above. Groove me, just groove me. I don't want you to feel frustrated. Come over to me, I'll make you feel like a lady. Come on, baby, I got it for you. Anything that you wanna do, but just groove me. Just groove me. Come on, honey, don't be shy. I wanna love you up to the sky. Groove me. Just groove me. I don't want you to feel frustrated. Come over to me, I'll make you feel like a lady. Like a lady.
Okay, we're back. We're going to go to my co-host here in a second, but before I do that, I received a gift the other day, and I wanted to mention him on the show last week, and I forgot, and Maggie reminded me, and it was a beautiful gift. I want to thank Butts LaRue in Virginia for the gift he sent to me, and what it was is he heard on the show that I'm the ambassador to Maker's Mark. My best friend owns Maker's Mark. His name's Bill Samuels, and he's out of Louisville, Kentucky. And I see him a lot. I go to Louisville, and he has a distillery is about an hour out of Louisville in Laredo, Kentucky. And he sent me a lamp, and it was a Maker's Mark bottle, but it was instead of having whiskey, and it was a lamp where you can plug it in. It was really cool. Thank you.
That's cool.
That's way cool. Okay, we're going to go to Kinga Andrea Johns. Kinga, are you there?
I'm here in Aspen.
What's going on in Aspen?
So much. I've been here at this Our Day Summit. It's been incredible. I'm here with Ryan Brown with Earth Day, Texas.
Right.
And Ray Gwynn. Say hello.
Hello.
Well, glad to have you on. Welcome to The Real Deal.
Mike. Thank you. How's it going?
And then I have Rod Richardson here.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, I love Aspen, man. Jane and I flew up there years ago. She would sell her jewelry up there. And I remember them saying that we flew in a chartered plane from Gallup, New Mexico, and they said, the pilot said, we got to be out of here by 3 or 4 o'clock because they shut the airport down because of where it's located. I don't know if it's still like that, but that's what it was back in the day.
It's beautiful here, and I think these gentlemen want to talk about what they do.
Yeah, well, why don't you lead off with the first one, and please introduce yourself because we didn't have time. Normally, my guests email me a short bio, so I'll let you introduce yourself and tell our listeners who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, we'll start with Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Ryan Brown, president of Earth Day Texas, and I loved your comment about Maker's Mark because that's what we're doing here is trying to make a mark on the environment.
Right.
And anyway, we're coming off a great win last April, Earth Day, April 22nd. And we're here at our day, just really taking advantage of seeing everybody and all the cosmic rays that are coming from people, you know, with all the energy and every environmental impact you can find. I'm here with a great team. I've got Ray Gwynn here. He'll introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Ray Gwynn. I'm manager of the renewable energy portion for Earth Day, Texas.
Oh, okay.
And we have a gentleman here that's with the rainforest.
Yes, my name is Brett Byers, and I'm actually a venture capitalist from San Francisco, California, but I'm also on the board of the Rainforest Trust, which is a tropical rainforest conservation charity, and also I am the founding pledger on the Million Acre Pledge, which is an effort to get folks to make very large results-based conservation commitments.
Awesome. That's awesome. One of my companies, as Kinga knows, is You Made International, and I produce minerals on the Navajo Nation in Gallup, New Mexico, and I told Trammell about it. In fact, he told me to send it to information to Ryan at earthdaytexas.org. So I guess that's you, Ryan, right?
Yes, it is. I did receive that email. I really appreciate that information.
Yeah, why don't you share it with the other gentlemen? But we produce minerals for organic agriculture and conventional agriculture and soil remediation, and it's found in northwest New Mexico, and I produce it and sell it worldwide. My biggest customer is the Dole Food Company, and Dole uses it all over the world for pineapples, bananas, mangoes, flowers, you name it, they use it. And my friend, my business partner here at Bali, has it in India and has it in Australia. So we're doing a lot of great things with it, and it all comes out of Gallup, New Mexico, and we'd like you guys to know about it, and we'd like to work with you, through you, however you want to do it, to try to utilize our product, because it is certified organic, and it works. It's like a multiple vitamin to the plant.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, participation at any level at our event would just be fantastic. I mean, as you know, we got over 130,000 attendees in 2016, and this year that represented almost 800 entities, a little over 1 million square feet. And the exposure on a business-to-business level and business-consumer is just it's out of this park. We're actually having so much fun with it. We'd love to see any kind of participation with what you're doing and anybody that's listening to this broadcast.
Yeah, no, we're going to come down there, Johnny Leonard and I, and I'll probably get Bally up there. And
Ryan, how did they get a hold of you?
Sure. You can go to our website, which is very informative. It's www.earthdaytx.org.
Right.
Don't be afraid to reach out to me. I know our founder has already given out my information.
Right.
Trammell was on the show last week, and he gave out his information.
So we can do that again. You can reach me at Ryan, R-Y-A-N, at earthdaytx.org. And I'd be happy to answer any questions and give as much involvement as possible.
Okay.
Ryan, what do you do? What do people that want to get involved do? What should they? What do you want them to? What message do you want to send to them?
Well, everything is really around engaging, educating, and empowering folks into the environmental movement that we've got going on here. It's clear it's all around us. And if they want to get involved, they can simply participate. And our participation comes in either an exhibit space, coming out, displaying your message, whether it's corporate America or you're a small nonprofit. You can engage as an attendee as well by coming out and viewing the exhibitors. And we also accept donations as well. And that comes at any level right on our website.
Okay, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Well, we're going to be there for sure. Trammell invited us, and he wants me to speak. And
Okay, so this gentleman sitting here, Rod Richardson, will speak now about what he did.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing? I'm with the Grace Richardson Fund. We are a private foundation, and we look for new ideas that can bridge the gap between left and right on some very tricky subjects that are caught in partisan gridlock, like climate and healthcare.
Right.
But we come at it from the conservative side.
Right.
Because, the Richardson Foundations have a deep history of conservatism going back to the 60s and 70s.
Right.
Smith Richardson was behind a lot of the ideas that formed the Reagan Revolution.
Right.
Supply-side tax cuts, monetarist economics, Reaganomics in general, really. And the neoconservative movement, Star Wars, the supporting Soviet dissidents like Solzhenitsyn, Sakharov, and also the solidarity movement. So we've been into new conservative ideas for a long time, and it's really sad that so much of the conservative think tank movement has ossified, and they no longer can come up with new ideas.
Right.
They seem stuck in a sort of negativity and kind of distrust, rather than the Reagan optimism. Where's the Reagan optimism?
Exactly.
So we look at solving problems, and one of the ideas that we're bringing to the table here, by the way, which I've been writing about at the American Spectator. I'm a columnist for them. I write the column is called The Free Market Optimist, and the idea that we're bringing to the table here is that suddenly you have a whole bunch of entrepreneurs in the clean tech space, not just wind and solar, but wind and solar are very significant because right now they're crossing the point, the cost point, right into unsubsidized profitability. They're just crossing that point right now. Wind crossed it, in 2011. Solar crossed it this year. And when that happens, when you got profits, suddenly tax rates matter, and suddenly Reaganomics and supply-side tax cuts matter a lot.
Right.
Okay, because you can reduce the tax rate on every clean tech business, not just wind and solar, but all the guys that are getting left out now.
Right.
That are doing amazing things like biochar and gasification and things that are carbon negative.
Right.
And, you can reduce the taxes and accelerate the investment and drive down the cost of energy so you get cheap, affordable energy.
Right.
Because, you're accelerating low-cost leaders. And you're taking the prescription of Ronald Reagan for the economy, which it did work very well in the 1980s.
Right.
We got Apple and Microsoft and Cisco and the computer revolution and then the internet revolution out of those tax cuts.
Right.
So those tax cuts like that are a technology accelerator.
Right.
And they're a price accelerator, and they're an investment accelerator.
Right.
So we're saying, we sell into these people. I'm one of the token conservatives here. There's a lot of pretty crazy environmental wackos here, but they're good people. They got good hearts, but they just don't know. They don't realize that you can't persuade a conservative by dressing up a liberal policy in fancy words. It doesn't
exactly.
work.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They need to understand that the words they're using does not describe conservative policy.
Right.
There are some words that really piss off conservatives, like you start with tax. Right?
Right.
And you lost them right away. So you go carbon tax, okay, that's out the door. And then there's subsidies and, regulation just sound like more spending, big government.
Mm-hmm.
So you lost the conservative right there at the get-go. They're not going to believe you. And but you have to bring them honest to God conservatism, good policy that makes sense whether or not climate change is real, because we don't know whether it's real. Show us some real benefits. So Reagan tax cut, it benefits the economy. It boosts the GDP. It pulls down prices. It makes energy cheaper. It makes things cleaner. Who doesn't like clean air, clean water?
Exactly.
Pollution. So forget climate change. There's a ton of other reasons to do this, but if climate change is real, well, okay, fine, we're there. But so that's what we're doing, and it's shaking up a lot of people. We're getting a lot of interest from across the aisle. First of all, the liberals, their eyes are, their jaws are dropping, open, and they're going, "What? We never even thought of this. You can do that?"
Yeah, right.
And then we've got the Rocky Mountain Institute interested in taking a look at this. We've got Conserve America on the right side, and the Jack Kemp Foundation working with us on this. Trammell Crow's interested, and those. Maybe, hopefully, T. Boone Pickens and Ted Turner's grandson, John, was very curious and interested. So we've got some good things going on, but that's what we're up to.
Where are you based out of?
I live up in New York City and also out on Long Island in Amagansett.
Okay.
And
we're going to come visit him and do the show from his house.
Right. Okay. What I want to tell you a little bit about.
Let's do it on the beach.
Yeah, I want to tell you a little bit about one of my companies, Yellow Horse Industries. Yellow Horse Industries was owned by my wife and I, and she passed away about over a year ago. She was a Navajo, beautiful Navajo lady. And I grew up on the Navajo Indian Reservation. I speak the language. And the Native Americans are the largest private owners of coal, oil, natural gas, water, copper, iron ore, all these minerals, because when they got this land from the federal government, the government didn't know what was underneath it, or probably wouldn't have gave it to them. And so my background is in coal. My family had coal mines all over the United States, back in Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia. And when I was a kid, I was 7 years old, my father decided to move out to New Mexico and run the Western operations out of New Mexico, and we had mines in Gallup, New Mexico. So I'm very partial, and I'm very interested in trying to keep the coal industry alive. And the Navajo Nation has big, large mines at Navajo, Peabody Coal, BHP, and some of the others. And the unemployment rate in Navajo is 50%. So these jobs are crucial, and they're high-paying jobs. So I went in front of the tribal council. They asked me to come and meet with them and talk to them about what's the next step for the coal industry, because the current administration in Washington is against coal, and they're trying to shut all the power plants down, and they know that'd be just an economic disaster for them. So I told them, I says, well, you got two options. One is you got to go with clean coal technology, or you got to export it. That's your two options. That's basically it. So what I did is I went to our national lab in Los Alamos, and I got a couple scientists to help me, and I built a prototype where I can convert coal to synthetic crude oil without burning it. Now, how do I do that? I use steam, and you put it in a chamber where there's no oxygen, and then at 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, the oil breaks down out of the coal. And you can take that oil and you can hydrogenate it at a refinery to diesel fuel or gasoline or jet fuel. But then what's left over is activated carbon. You can use it as activated carbon. So basically, that product, activated carbon, goes for $2 a pound. You know, the city of New York uses it. The city of Scottsdale uses it as a filter to filter out the wastewater, the heavy metals and stuff out of our water where we can drink it. That's what, and they bring it offshore. Most of it's coconut shells and stuff like that. So I did it, and I had the prototype, and I'm interested in going full scale with it. So I'd like to I'd like to get your email address or something, how I can share some of this information with you guys.
Well,
I can't hear you. No.
Right on the phone. Here he is.
Hello.
Yes. So this is Byers, and I am a venture capitalist again from San Francisco, but I'm also focused on saving tropical forests. And I actually went as an exhibitor and exhibited on behalf of the Rainforest Trust and also the Million Acre Pledge, which are both conservation charities, at Earth Day, Texas, and had a fabulous experience. I met so many people that connected me to opportunities to raise money and also collaborate on conservation projects. And in fact, I met so many people that I spent the next 2 months traveling the country fundraising for the rainforest just from the connections that I made at Earth Day, Texas. And in fact, I didn't sleep very much during that 2-month period. I'm also running 2 financial businesses. So I had just an unbelievable experience at Earth Day, Texas. And one of the things I do is the Million Acre Pledge, which is, again, a big pledge, kind of like the giving pledge that the Buffett Gates giving pledge, but it's focused on conservation. And I'm very happy to say that Trammell S. Crow, who has been a benefactor putting on Earth Day, Texas, and has been on your show, he actually is taking the pledge. And in fact, because of the folks I met at Earth Day, Texas, I found several other pledgers in the last few months as well. So I had a great, and I even made a venture capital investment from a company that I met through the contacts there at Earth Day, Texas. So I didn't know that this was going to happen, but it was just an amazing experience and has energized me to do.
Okay. You were really breaking up. I don't know where you guys are at, but we're having a hard time hearing you clearly. But I want to get your email address or contact information, and then the previous gentleman that was just on, I'd like to get his email information as well.
Okay.
Okay. And
great. So, again, my name is Brett Byers, and I can be reached at Brett, B-R-E-T-T, at rainforesttrust.org. And people can also look at the rainforesttrust.org website.
Rainforesttrust.org. Okay, and the previous gentleman that was on.
Hi, this is Rod Richardson from the Grace Richardson Fund.
And how do I get a hold of you, Rod?
The simple way to do it is Rod, R-O-D, at nyc.rr.com.
nyc.rr?
Yeah, .com.
nyc.rr.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Once again, Rod at nyc.rr.com.
Okay. Was you guys able to hear me talk about the cold oil?
Oh yeah, we heard about that.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of technologies here that I'm looking at that can make the existing energy cleaner and cheaper, and that's clean tax cuts would definitely apply to anything like that.
Yeah.
That makes and I'll tell you, all those businesses like yours are being treated unfairly because you're decarbonizing energy.
Right.
You're in fact turning the part of what you're doing is turning the fossil fuel industry into a carbon materials business. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And so you're the future of the fossil fuel industry.
Right. And burning
and we need to move the people who are talking about the carbon tax and all this stuff are talking about killing the fossil fuel industry. That's not the way to go. You have to give people hope.
Yeah.
You have to. You got to show people a way forward. And clean tax cuts.
Yeah.
Let every industry become cleaner. If you're decarbonizing, you will. The tax cut should be based on decarbonizing.
Right.
So if you're a decarbonizing business, it's technologically neutral. It doesn't matter what you are, as long as you're decarbonizing. If you can do it and you can compete against the market, great. But you know what? If you can't do it and you can't compete against the market, well, I'm sorry, Chief, but tough bullpucky. You can't. You're not gonna. So if you can do it at a profit, yay. We give you tax cuts, and the tax cuts accelerate investment to you. But they accelerate investment to the people who are doing it the best.
Right.
And the people who are doing it the most. And you know what? Guess what, Chief? You got some awfully tough competitors here. I saw this biochar company. They've got this amazing biochar that gives. You put it in the soil, and it raises the yield 880%. Because that biochar is so fine that it's a great product. You've got amazing stuff going on with gasification. This guy Sierra Energy.
Uh-huh.
He's creating taking garbage and making road surface metal and hydrogen energy and also carbon products out of it.
Okay, the guy with the biochar. What is his feedstock for the biochar? Do you know?
Is what? He's based in the Pacific Northwest. There's millions and millions of trees have been killed off by the beetle.
Right. Right.
The beetles. The beetles.
Right.
He's going to come on our show.
The wood beetles or whatever they call them. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Right. And so they're what is their company's name? Biochar Now is the name of their company. But all I'm saying is that, and then there's Zero, which I think you invested in, right, Brett? Zero is great. They're taking. These guys have some great technology. They take the flare gas from off of a well and break it apart. They use the methane to power the damn well, so they don't need to buy power off the grid. And they take the hydrogen and they produce clean energy, and they take the carbon and they produce high quality carbon fibers and microchip stuff. So they've got some amazing technology, and then they have a truck to diesel to gas, that is, or diesel to compressed gas truck conversion kit that you can take your diesel truck for $20,000. You can convert it to run compressed gas. You cut emissions 90% and save $30,000 a year on fuel.
That's awesome.
And they keep the torque. The torque is 97.9% of the diesel, so it's almost 100%.
Right.
As good a torque. And none of these guys that I just mentioned, they're treated unfairly, by the tax code, which has one kind of subsidies for wind and another kind for solar and a ton for fossil fuels, and nothing for these innovators who are making fossil fuels clean, right, and turning them into the materials business like you.
Right.
So we're talking about clean tax cuts across the board. It levels the playing field and puts it in terms of what did you do for carbon, right? Mm-hmm. And it gives you a tax cut based on that. So it's what do you think it would do, Brett? Do you think it would help you investors?
Well, as a venture capitalist, I think it would have a huge effect, and it would really motivate a tremendous additional investment.
What do they sell the biochar for?
Ray, what do you think of the clean tax? Do you think the clean tax
is a perfect plan? It's equal across the board, and it actually brings both sides of it to quit arguing about it, and actually just level the playing field and let everybody get what they get.
It's a win. It's a triple win. Okay, it's a win for the Democrats and the liberals because they get a climate policy. It's a win for the Republicans because they get a supply side tax cut and they get the cred of the association of tax cuts with growth, which will help them in the future get other tax cuts. And then it's a win for the world and the economy. So it's a triple win for everybody.
Right. But I can tell you, burning coal is a total waste.
Ray here has his own business. He wants to talk about that, Ray.
Well, I'm in my job is with Earth Day Texas, but I also have a fuel cell company. My background's in the forklift industry, and we sell fuel cells for forklifts. And it's that's a growing. There's probably 12,000 forklifts in the United States alone running on fuel cells now. It's a more, and these companies don't buy it because it's green. They buy it because it's more productive.
Exactly.
And they bought it because it's green.
Right. Yeah.
And Chief, this is Ryan Brown again, Earth Day Texas. This discussion is absolutely fabulous, and these are the types of discussions and the type of companies and the type of innovation that's going on that you can see for 3 days at Earth Day Texas. I mean, this is what we are all about.
Well, we're going to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Well, I really want to try to save the coal industry in this country. I really do, because and there's a way to do it, by using these different technologies, and it's clean coal technology. But there has to be a commitment, especially from the federal government, to try to give us the tax cuts, give us what we need,
I've got some people in Dallas that are on boards of all these coal companies, a golfing buddy of mine, and we've talked about it. He's looked at hydrogen for some time, but we're glad to introduce you to him.
Yeah, and now, and what's your email address?
It's Ray at earthdaytx.org.
Okay, Ray, I'm going to send you some stuff. I'm going to send it all to
Ray Gwynn.
But it's just Ray, though, at Earth Day.
Yeah. That's
Chief Yellowhorse, may I ask you a question?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
What about, the other things that are often in coal, like mercury and stuff like that? What do you do about that in your process?
Well, the sulfur that's in the coal and the stuff that's we've taken. Here's what we've done: we've taken tests before and after. We had labs analyze the coal and to see what was in it, and then we have after we run it through our process, and we take it back to the lab and we run it through the lab to see what's in it, and we've cleaned it up and we've taken sulfur out of it. Because we've taken the only thing it won't take out is ash. It won't lower the ash, and ash is just rock that comes in the coal. It won't take that out. So you got to have a clean coal or pretty clean coal to start with. But
okay, but what happens to the sulfur and what happens to the mercury? Do you know where that goes?
That
it doesn't just disappear.
No. That would go into the oil.
Into the what?
Oil.
Into the oil. So is there any kind of mercury problem with the oil?
No,
burning oil?
No, because we ship the oil. We ship the oil to oil refineries to find that out. That was our question.
So in other words, they have to remove the mercury and the sulfur there at that.
That's correct, and they can do that. And they can do
They
that.
got that problem to deal with.
Yeah, and they can do that.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Chief Yellow Horse, this is Brett Byers again, and I'm the venture capitalist, but also into saving tropical rainforests. And one thing I wanted to mention that with the Rainforest Trust, we actually have a big focus on getting title to indigenous people who've occupied the rainforest for many, many years, and we get them title to their land, that's their ancestral land, and they end up protecting the rainforest, and they actually do an extremely good job. There's some studies that show that indigenous protected lands in this manner are actually better protected than national parks. And I thought that might be interesting to you.
It is. It is. What's your website?
So it's rainforesttrust.org.
Rainforesttrust.org.
.org. And again, my email is Brett, B-R-E-T-T,
yeah, okay.
at rainforesttrust.org.
I got it.
And I'm not sure if I was breaking up before, but I basically had described how I had a fabulous experience at Earth Day, Texas.
Right.
Not only for my charitable activities, but even for my venture capital activities. That's where I met the people at the company Zero that does the flare gas work that I mentioned in terms of reducing the environmental impact. And I invested in that company as a venture capitalist. And in addition, I had tremendous benefit for my charitable activities, gaining Trammell Crow as a 1 million acre pledger to conserve 250,000 acres of forest, but also then doing a road trip from all the people I met all around the country and raising many hundreds of thousands of dollars to save rainforest.
That's awesome. Well, anything we can do to help, we'll give you the mic. King will tell you that. And the other thing is,
I have a question for Brett. So if we donate for your cause and for the rainforest, what does the money go to? What do they do in the rainforest?
So Rainforest Trust is focused entirely on direct conservation projects. So these are projects where areas are put into conservation and then they're protected. And one aspect of that, a big way we do that, is actually titling indigenous lands. Other ways are forming national parks and protecting them. And the great thing about the Rainforest Trust is you can pick individual projects and give to individual projects, and you know exactly what you're getting out of it. The price per acre conserved is shown. So if you give $10 and it's $1 per acre, you know that you saved 10 acres. There's no overhead taking out of it. And so it actually allows individuals to give by credit card on the web, almost like a foundation can give, where they can dictate they want the money to go only to this project. Rainforest Trust allows individuals to do that sort of donation.
Okay. One of the things that Yellow Horse Industries does is we work with a lot of the different Native American tribes around the country and in Canada and Alaska. So anything that we can do to help stimulate the economy of Indian nations, that's what my show's about too. I started this show a year and a half ago. It went to number one. I really got upset with these political correctness SOBs that want to change the names of the teams that honor Native Americans, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Washington Redskins. And that's why I really got this show going, because it really pissed me off. And I said, this is crap. I said, this is political correctness crap. And so that's what got me going on the show, and then it just went to number one from there. But and I'm sure you guys agree with me, because the Washington Post did a poll, and it was about a month ago. They went out to every Indian nation in every state, actually, including Alaska, and interviewed Native Americans of all walks of life. And I told this to Trammell last week. They interviewed him and says, do you find the names Kansas City Chiefs, Washington Redskins, Cleveland Indians, Atlanta Braves, Chicago Blackhawks, Golden State Warriors, do you find those names offensive? 9 out of 10 of them said no, that they're not offensive. So
I don't find, this is Rod Richardson, I don't find it offensive, but I do think that if you're going to be using those names, you should give a small portion of your profits to stuff having to do with the Indian nation that
I agree.
you're borrowing their name from, because you know what? It's not that name doesn't really belong to you. It belongs to the Indians. So if you're going to use it and, you're claiming you have the right to it, whatever, you should say a thank you. Don't you think?
No, that's right. And that's what and Dan Snyder, who's the owner of the Washington Redskins, has the American Indian Foundation. And he goes around the country and he's given, I think last year he gave $5 million to different projects that for windmills and different things on Indian reservations around the country. So, no, you're right. You're exactly right. And we do Indian events there with the American Indian Center at Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium.
Let me comment on it.
And so, go ahead.
Can I I wanted to comment on something that Brett said, because, when he was talking about protecting the indigenous folks by giving them their property rights to the land. When I heard him say that, I talked to him yesterday for the American Spectator. I have to say that is so interesting, because years ago the Richardson Foundation funded a guy in Peru named Hernando de Soto, and Hernando de Soto wrote a very famous book. He's an economist in Peru, called The Other Path, which was a contrast to the Shining Path terrorists.
Right.
Who wanted a Marxist agenda, and they were organizing the tribes to and the people in Peru to become terrorists.
Oh, boy.
And claiming that capitalism was oppressing them.
Right.
And Hernando de Soto was a brilliant guy who said, no, that's not the case. It's not capitalism that's oppressing these people.
Right.
It's kleptocracy. It's people that have frozen them out of the economic system and put them into a black market where they have no economic, possibilities,
right,
because they can never legalize what they're doing. So he said, okay, we have to, for the people of Peru, we have to give them their property rights. And it was a prescription for prosperity. And it was a conservative idea, which we funded. I mean, he was attacked by the terrorists. We gave him a frickin' bomb-proof limousine was the grant.
Right.
We didn't just give him money to be an economist. We gave him a bomb-proof limousine, which got blown up, by the way.
Right. Well, wow.
But he won the argument. The Shining Path said, "You're right. We're wrong. The private property rights for the Indians." He ended a terrorist movement with an idea.
Right. Well, that's awesome.
And the awesome thing is that now this idea is being transformed into a way of protecting the environment.
Right.
Which is really interesting, like the tie-in between a very basic conservative idea
right,
that is part of the whole Reagan Revolution, really.
Right.
Even though it didn't occur in this country, it was financed by us.
Okay. Well,
and that idea is in part of what
right,
the Rainforest Trust is doing.
Well, that's good, gentlemen. We're running out of time here, and so I'm going to have to. I want to thank you. First, I want to thank you all, including you, Kinga, for coming on my show. And you're welcome to come on again. And if you ever come into Scottsdale, come into the studio, and we'll do it live on a Wednesday night.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay. Thank you, Kinga. Thank you.
Thanks,
Take care.
Thank you, and I want to thank Trammell for starting this Earth Day Texas movement and getting everybody involved in saving this planet. We're all going to do this.
Okay,
take action.
And if you guys like what I'm doing and you agree with what I'm doing, consider being a sponsor, because I've been funding this thing out of my own pocket.
Gotcha.
And Kingo can tell you about that. Okay, that was 3 or 4 interesting people with Kinga in Aspen, Colorado. Thanks for coming on. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Who's that woman on the arm? All dressed up to do you harm. Give her just about a month, just about a month or two. Get off more than I can chew. And I'm the fool, yeah, I knew all it was to lead them to. Some things that I can't refuse. I can't get one of them the bedroom blue.
Okay, now I want to introduce my good friend, my personal driver, actually, Karen Washington, and she also drives for Uber. and she has some products that she's involved in. Plexus is one of them, and she's been on the show before. Lovely lady, know her mom, know her daughter, and nice family. And so, Karen, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Okay, I will. Just wanted to say hello again. Thanks, Chief, for having me on.
You're welcome.
And just wanted to give a real quick plug to Uber, which is one of the companies that I enjoy driving people around here in Phoenix, Arizona. So just wanted to let you know you can go online and you can download the app for yourself and get $20 off your first ride by entering the promo code LR7UGK. And also look up Plexus. Plexus has some amazing products for health. And you can go to www.plexuslim.com/Karen Washington and look at these wonderful products.
They're health products. Right?
Health products, all health related.
Exactly, yeah. Well, you always pick up, I always meet really interesting people when I have Uber drivers driving me. That's how I met you.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was driving me one night, and she says, man, I like you so much, Chief. She says, I don't drive people personally, but I'll drive you. And she did for a long, long time, yeah.
That's right. It's been over a year.
Yeah.
Good friends.
Get me home safe.
There you go. So everyone out there, just wanted to say hello again and take time to enjoy life and be healthy.
That's it. That's what we got to do.
Drive safely.
Yep. Now, my friend Alex is here from Beverly Hills, and he's been working with the filming company that's been in here filming me 4 times. And you actually went up on the Navajo Nation and did some filming with Peter, and you interviewed some Native Americans, didn't you?
Yes, I did, Dennis. And again, thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely.
I'm always honored to be here and speak on behalf of the Native American Indians. Yes, I was up on the show I was up on a reservation not long ago, actually, with my director, and we were doing a lot of shooting for Peter McDonald, doing a documentary on the Code Talkers. And when I was up there, I just wanted to, bring this up, talking about the names and the logos and ask them what do they think, how do they feel about these names and logos, and from the Kansas City Chiefs to the Blackhawks, to the Washington Redskins, and speaking with all the Navajos, council members, and matter of fact, even the Apaches. We were up on their reservation as well, and I had not one Native American tell me they were offended by the names, logos, colors, styles. They were all very proud of these names.
I know.
And that, I knew I was going to get that reaction, actually, because this is just a silly genocide in America.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Political correctness going crazy, and that's what's ruining our country.
Absolutely. Look, right now it's to take the names. Tomorrow it's all about land grabbing. Just remember that, America.
Yeah, and your guns.
Absolutely.
They're
already working on trying to chisel out the Second Amendment and take our First Amendment rights away from us. So
yeah,
we got to stand firm.
Yeah, we got to wake up, America.
That's right.
It's time we wake up and make America great again.
That's right. We got to make America great again.
And last week I seen a really cool picture of you.
Oh yeah, I got up front and met the big Donald myself.
Yeah, there's a picture, ladies and gentlemen, where Kyle went down to Donald Trump's rally.
Yep.
What time did you get there?
Well, he spoke at 4, and me and my brother, we got there before the gates opened at 9:30 a.m.
Well, so what did you do all day?
We stood in the sun till 1:30 p.m., and it was worth it, though. And then we got in, and he was doing his speech in Vegas only 3 hours earlier. So he flew down, got in about 4 o'clock, did his speech, and we pushed our way up front, and he came down to the railings after, did some signing, and met him, shook his hand, did our signs, asked for a photo, and it was awesome.
Did you tell him we're kicking ass and saving names?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I seen that picture, man, on Facebook.
Yeah, I did not wake up that morning expecting that.
In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put it on our Facebook. So like the Real Deal Facebook, and you'll see the picture of him and his brother with Mr. Trump, and that was really great. I'm proud of you, man. That was awesome.
I love the picture.
Oh, thank you.
Maggie loved the picture, too. Hey, I think we got one more song, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Tee it up. We're at the end of the rope, ladies and gentlemen. We had a hell of a show, didn't we, Kyle?
As always.
Yep. Thanks for coming, Alex.
You're welcome. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you, Karen Washington, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you, my lovely co-host from Hong Kong.
Thanks, my big daddy. Love you a long time.
Big Daddy. Thanks to Bally for that.
Thanks our handsome, charming ambassador.
She's sweet. Okay. I always thank our people in the armed services for protecting our country. Thank you, Grace Propane, for being a sponsor. Swisher Air Conditioning, You Made International, Yellow Horse Industries. Those are my two companies for sponsoring The Real Deal. So that's it. We're going to move it on. We're going to go to a birthday party. A friend of mine's having one here in Scottsdale, and we're going to go over there and kick back for a little bit. So we're going to shut it down. But before I go, I want to thank everybody and consider being a sponsor. Because we need it. We want to keep the word going and keep sharing it. Keep liking our Facebook page, The Real Deal on Facebook. And Kyle, why don't you just tell everybody that's listening to our show all over the world why the hell I'm here?
To kick ass and save names, Ambassador.
You better believe it.
Thank you for listening to The Real Deal. Tune in to The Real Deal with the Ambassador and special guest hosts every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and on demand 24/7 right here on Star Worldwide Networks.